Nadia Cohen, podcast 1, letter A. 2 cosine times pi over 12 times sine pi over 12. I use problem number 4, which is sine 2 theta is equal to sine 2 sine theta cosine theta, which is broken down into cosine pi over 12 sine pi over 12. It has the same theta, so then I said sine 2 times pi over 12, which will give you 2 pi over 12, which is broken down into pi over 6. That is equal to sine pi over 6. And when you look on your unit circle, it gives you, sine is y, so it gives you 1/2.
Which is sine times 7 pi over 12. And this equals 105 degrees. I use number 11 identity, which is sine A plus B equals sine A times cosine B plus cosine A times sine B. Now you need to switch these to sine 60 degrees plus 45. And I got that because 60 plus 45 equals 105 degrees. And then you just need to distribute that like throughout the whole problem. So it'd be sine 60 degrees times cosine 45 degrees plus cosine 60 degrees times sine 45 degrees. And then I referred back to my unit circle and I switched these out. So instead of it being sine 60 degrees, this is square root of 3 over 2. And instead of it being cosine 45, it's the square root 2 over 2. And then plus cosine 60 is 1/2. And then sine 45 is the square root of 2 over 2. And I needed to reduce it. This is tall people problems. Your answer is the square root of 6 plus the square root of 2 all over 4. This is your answer.
Problem C is tan 10 degrees minus tan 40 degrees all over 1 plus tan 10 degrees times tan 40 degrees. I use problem number 13, which is equal to tan A minus B is equal to tan A minus tan B all over 1 plus tan A times tan B. So for this one, I took this formula, I took this piece and I just basically did tan of 10 and 40, 10 minus 40 degrees is negative 30 degrees. So I did the odd even identity and I got negative 10 is equal to 30 degrees. On a unit circle, that would be negative 10 is equal to pi over 6. And tangent is sine over cosine. So it will be 1 over square root of 3. And you can't have a radical in the denominator, so that is equal to square root of 3 over 3, and it's negative.
Victoria Clark, podcast name. I did letter D, which is cosine negative 15 degrees, which can be rewritten as cosine 15 degrees due to the odd and even identity. I am using number 9 formula, which is cosine x over 2 equals plus or minus the square root of 1 plus cosine x over 2. To complete this problem, I plug 30 in for x, which will equal plus or minus 1 plus cosine 30 over 2, which will equal so then I change cosine 30 to square root of 3 over 2 all over 2. Okay. Then I need to change number 1 to get the same denominator in the numerator, so there's no fraction in the numerator. So I'll be putting 2 over 2 plus the square root of 3 over 2, and that would equal 2 plus the square root of 3 over 2. Now I have to times it by 1/2 to divide the fraction. And then that equals 2 plus the square root of 3 over 4. And then I need to reduce it, which would equal plus or minus 1 plus 3 over 2. And that is your answer.
So I did problem E, which is cosine 105 degrees times cosine 75 degrees. And I use the product to sum identity. Oops. So that was cosine A cosine B is equal to 1/2 cosine A minus B plus cosine A plus B. So I just plugged it into the formula, which is cosine 105 degrees cosine 75 degrees is equal to 1/2 of cosine 105 degrees minus 75 degrees plus cosine of 105 degrees plus 75 degrees. So then I just did what's in the parentheses. Cosine 105 degrees minus 75 degrees is 30 degrees. Plus cosine 105 degrees plus 75 degrees is 180 degrees. So after that, I looked at the unit circle, and cosine of 30 degrees is square root of 3 over 2 plus 180, or cosine of 180 is negative 1. So then I did was in the parentheses first, and I did square root of 3 over 2 minus, because a negative plus a negative, a negative plus a positive is a negative. So you have to have the same denominator, 2 all over 2. That's the same as negative 1. And that gave me square root of 3 minus 2 all over 2. And these two can cancel out. So that gave me 1 minus square root of 3. All over 3. So then I went back to 1/2 times 1 minus square root of 3 over 3. I put it all over 1 just because, so I can make it a fraction. And I got 1 minus square root of 3 all over 2. And that's your answer.
F, which is cosine pi over 3 minus cosine pi over 5. I use the sum to product identity, and I changed this to 60 degrees and this to 36 degrees. The sum to product identity is cosine x minus cosine y equals negative sine x times x plus y over 2 times sine x minus y over 2. Then I plugged that in, and it was cosine 60 degrees minus cosine 36 degrees equals negative 2 sine 60 degrees plus 36 degrees over 2 and sine over 60 degrees over minus 36 degrees over 2. Then I reduced it to negative 2 sine over 48 degrees and sine times sine 12 degrees. And that is the answer.
So me and my partner worked problem G out together, which was page 507, number 77, but she was nervous, so I decided to film. So it was 1 plus cosecant x times secant x is equal to cosine negative x minus cosecant negative x all over cosine x. This cosecant negative x is an odd even identity, and that could be cosecant x, that could be positive. So since these two are the same, I cross these out, which will leave me with negative cosecant x negative x. And that's also an odd even identity, which can be broken into negative cosecant x. Since these two are positive, that will leave me with, since these two are negative, it will leave me with a positive cosecant x, and it could be written as 1 over sine x. It's the reciprocal. So on this side, this is the same as writing cotangent x. And cotangent x is cosine x all over sine x. And secant is the same as writing 1 over cosine x. You multiply them, and so you can cross these out, and then you will just be left with 1 over sine x is equal to 1 over sine x. And this is your answer.